you want to tell me a bit about who you are and who you work for? And
Sure, yeah. My name's Pete Anstey. I'm working currently as a freelance consultant to Bechtle with responsibility on this occasion for developing what's called the open part of the Learning and Technology World Forum. Because the what's called the closed part, the ministerial part, has been going for 5 years, one of my colleagues, Gavin Dykes, has responsibility for that part of it, and that's been going for, as I say, for five years or so. So they've got a particular way of working already established. But what we were looking to do was extend the reach and opportunities that the forum might offer a broader group of people, and I've taken responsibility for working up how the programme would work, what the experiences would look like, and so on.
And tell me a bit more about the forum. And because you said a ministerial forum and an open forum. What's the primary objectives of that?
Okay, it's a good one, really. I mean, the substance of what the ministerial work has been about over the last 5 years is to develop an opportunity for ministers to talk in an environment and to develop a culture in that environment where people can share freely some of the challenges that exist in terms of making technology really work for learners, because it's really tough stuff. Because of the links with British Council, who've been very important in helping bring together ministers, and obviously the supporting work from the department who originally sponsored the programme, it's been very much about developing some confidence of ministers that this is a place they can come and be relatively open and free about their challenges, but also to know that there are people they can talk to and get ideas from in terms of what they might do next, particularly because it's tied into the BET show, which is relatively unique, it is unique internationally in terms of its focus on education technology. So that forum will continue in some form or other in its closed sense, but the notion of the broader group is that rather than focusing on what goes on in classrooms and with learners directly, the challenge was to help people who have the responsibility of turning policy into the experience of learners come together, share their experiences, share their expertise, and be able to learn from each other. So the real challenge of the forum is to create a network which is, if you like, a peer-to-peer network of learners.
Right.
They might not see themselves that way, but that's what we're trying to encourage them to feel that they are, just like any other peer-to-peer group, working with each other to, as I say, share experiences, which is where some of the work that you're doing comes in, to begin to surface and recognise some of the issues, because there are some real challenges in all the contexts in which the people here today work, and we have people here from 191 countries.
Right.
Enormous range of contexts in which those people work, and the challenges are very different in each of those, but the reality is there is expertise and experience here in terms of doing and developing ways of working which we can all share in at every level, and obviously the intellectual capital that's brought together in something like this is an enormous opportunity to pose questions and if you like, problem solve. So one of the ideas of the workshop is that the workshops will be places where not only people can hear about what others have been doing, but help them problem solve and begin to address some of those issues as a group. And it's the continuation of that sort of debate and dialogue that's the aspiration of the forum itself.
Right. And you think as a result of that you're now going to get a lot of conversations going on, which are international conversations, and that would encourage both online conversations and offline conversations? That's the objective.
Absolutely so, and certainly in terms of the planning and organisation, the notion that we have an online forum using the Get Ideas software, which we would like to pursue. We've got a lot of people with expertise and understanding about how fora work, so we know that, for example, there's no point trying to run it for 365 days because that isn't what works. But yes, so we've got some mechanisms and means by which we can extend and develop those contacts. So So, for example, what we hope to be doing over the next 12 months is having specific slots where, for example, we take particular issues that people are challenged by and use the forum to develop those and begin to develop some of those exchanges and
what do you think
ideas.
some of those issues could become?
Well, where do you start? I mean, it was interesting. I was talking to a colleague from Uganda last night, from the ministry in Uganda, where they were currently working on simulations and developing simulations for developing the higher level understanding in science.
Right.
We were talking to a colleague from one of the commercial companies who was helping the gentleman from Uganda recognise that actually there are already quite a lot of those sorts of simulations out there, and trying to connect people up with what already exists is one of the challenges, because sometimes it's you don't need to reinvent the wheel, it's already out there, maybe you just need to repurpose it. So some of what we're talking about is that sort of people supporting each other.
And in terms of technology, do you have a definition of what we mean by technology?
No. The technology, essentially, as far as we're concerned, is anything that will support and enhance learning. Right. People tend to think, oh, you're talking about computers. We're talking about the way that video can be used, the way that audio can be used, and the way that interconnections can be used. I mean, one of the real challenges to schools in the UK at the moment is to make the most use of technology that kids bring in through the door with them. Right. Kids are walking around with more technology in their pocket in many cases than the school has collectively within its boundaries. We need to make changes to the way we think and operate in order to make the most use of all the different technologies that are available.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. That's
good.
Great. Lovely. That.